Hi, friends. My name is Bhavya Mangla, and I'm again back in my third episode, wherein I'm going to talk to Ishani Luthra in my topic with respect to unfiltered conversation. The objective of this conversation in general is to talk to the common man to understand that what are the achievements they are having, what are the challenges they are facing, and how they are overcoming all that during their routine life. At times, we think that unless and until there is some big celebrity or someone which everyone knows, only those people can create a difference or they can give some valuable inputs. But then, my experience is that the common man, the people who are around us, they are also doing something extraordinary. And today, my speaker, which is going to be there, is Ishani Luthra. To talk little bit about Ishani Luthra did his her computer engineering in 2017, and then after that, she had a varied interest. She started with working in semantics, which is a primarily an IT related company, and after working there, she realized that no, she has some other kind of interest also. So during that process, she joined Toastmasters, and then after some time, she decided to change her career entirely together to be in the a different zone, which is more with respect to creativity about writing something and challenging herself. She has also written four books. So you can think about someone who passed out in 2021, in 2017, and has written four books. So let me call on Mike Ishani Luthra. Hi, Ishani.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, Ishani, before talking about your initial time, I think let's start from this time. Very recently, your new book, Sugar and Sunsets, that was released in the Word Book Fair in the month of Feb. How's your experience about that? Let's start from there.
The experience, it's a two-part answer. The first part is the publishing aspect, and the second is the release. So this is the fourth book that I've independently published,
Hmm.
and the experience was same as the first three books, as in it was filled with adrenaline and excitement. And I had a habit of, for the first three books, I had a habit of releasing them early in the morning on Amazon and then releasing it world. But this one
Okay.
was a little different because I wasn't releasing it primarily for the audience. I was going to release this in the book fair. So the publishing aspect was sort of similar to the first three books, but the
Hmm.
release was what, it still feels surreal because I've always been going to the book fair. I've been
Hmm.
seeing people, books over there, and authors who are famous at this point, and people buying their books. So to experience that firsthand and to be on the other side of the stage, I think that's what holds much more excitement for me.
Hmm.
Uh, and it wasn't just the release, but we also had a book signing at the book fair. So to sit there and actually sign copies for the people who were really interested in buying it, the experience was the first experience I ever had with respect to the book release, but it's something I'm going to cherish. I don't know, I think forever. This is what was different in this particular.
Wonderful. So, when you started thinking that you should start writing books, means when all that thought started coming in your mind.
So I don't have the exact timeline of it, but
Hmm.
like I said, I graduated in 2017, and
Uh-huh.
like soon after that, my career trajectory changed altogether.
Uh-huh.
So it was never in the back of my head that I have to release a book. Over the
Uh-huh.
course of time, as I kept on improving with my writing skills and kept on becoming a better writer every single day. A part of which has also happened through Toastmasters.
Uh-huh.
But somewhere along the line, when I realized that okay, I have a collection of poems and I
Uh-huh.
have confidence that I can cut into a book, that's when it happened. And it happened during COVID actually, when we were
Uh-huh.
all sitting and there wasn't a lot of positivity in the world.
Uh-huh.
This felt
Uh-huh.
like a good step to take. And ironically, it wasn't me who decided to publish the book. It was actually my brother who told me that, dude, you have a collection. Why don't you finally publish a book? Because you've been talking about it for a while. So why
Uh-huh.
not? That's how it happened. So it was sort of like a spur of the moment. That okay, it's time that I start publishing.
Uh-huh.
But it happened over the course of a few years.
Wonderful. So you just talked about Toastmasters. So how has been your experience in Toastmaster and when you joined Toastmaster?
I joined Toastmasters in 2017. I was in the final year of my college when I
Okay.
first meeting at our club, Toastmasters Club of
Mhm.
West. And
Okay.
shortly after uh, attending a meeting,
Hmm.
I became a member as well. So it happened in 2017, May 7th, 2017, if I'm not wrong. That's when I
Okay.
actually submitted
Okay.
my
Just 2 days
Toast
before, right? Hmm.
the students, right?
Hmm.
And the experience has actually been really good because there are three reasons why people come to Toastmasters, right? One is for networking, second is to improve their speaking skills, and third is for leadership,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
as a person who has been in Toastmaster for so many years, I'm talking about you, you have been through all these three, right?
Yeah.
And when you joined, you also have had a certain set of goals. You take it.
Yeah.
This is why I want to join Toastmaster. I
Yeah.
didn't have any. I
Hmm.
joined it because someone recommended, and I thought, well, let's give it a shot. Let's see what it is. So I didn't
Hmm.
have a goal. I didn't want to improve my speaking skills. I didn't want to network. Leadership was way out of my mind. But
Hmm.
when I joined, and see the reason why people join the club is the same, right?
Hmm.
They like the vibe of the club, they like the energy. That's
Yeah.
exactly why I joined the club because I felt welcomed in my first meeting.
Hmm.
Gradually, what happened was because there are people around you who
Yeah.
support you, who know you, who have seen you through the beginning, you gradually have a support system with you. So it
Hmm.
was the support system who slowly and steadily nudged me into the role of assistant VP education, I remember.
Hmm.
And that's when it started. So I had no goal, but gradually what happened was I not only ventured into leadership, but
Hmm.
because of meeting so many people, I hit on the networking aspect as well. And
Okay.
it was around that time when I was in my first job, when I was trying to shift towards a different career path. I think
Hmm.
through all those months, the writing aspect also evolved and
Okay.
gradually the speaking part. So it's been good because it not only helped me venture into all these three areas, but it also took me back to the stage, which I used to be a part of back in school. So it's been exciting actually for
Hmm.
how I've been a part of the club. And
Wonderful.
today as well, if I go back, let's say tomorrow if I'm attending a meeting, I'll still feel welcomed the way I did back in 2017.
Wonderful.
That's
Uh, you said that you also participated in the leadership role as a
right.
president, as a vice president, education, and other roles. And if you look into the tagline of Toastmasters, it is also written
Really.
where leaders are made. So, do you think that this Toastmaster journey has made any difference with respect to your leadership skills or how to see things from that perspective?
From the leadership, not actively, to be honest, because I haven't ventured actively into leadership roles, but
Okay.
passively, if we talk about it, see,
Hmm.
when you are working in an organization, you have to be very much active in whatever role you're playing. How
Hmm.
Toastmasters helps and helped me as well was it gave me a safe space to work with.
Okay.
So let's say the time when I was a VP education, if you remember, I used to hold this brown diary with me. It was this thicker diary,
Yeah.
this small. I used to write everything down, the roles and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
What it helped me with in that particular role was it helped me organize things in a better way.
Okay.
So even though I'm not a leader today, and I
Hmm.
don't know if I plan to be in the future, but
Hmm.
organizing people's speeches, managing those roles, gave me a sense
Hmm.
of time management and a better sense of organization. How because when you're the VP education, you're basically the backbone of the club, right? And you have
Yeah.
so many things to manage. Not only the
Yeah.
people, teachers, their roles, and you are responsible to make sure people complete their goals. So
Yeah.
you're sort of a manager to them, right?
Hmm.
So if you are managing so many people,
Yeah.
gradually what happens is when you start managing a team of 2 or 3 people, it starts the
Hmm.
results start. So that's how it helped me. Not actively because I'm not in a leadership position, but sort of like a passive nudge. But you have been an AD, right?
Yep.
Immediate active. I'm sure you it might have helped you as well.
Yep.
So as a president, as the AD, right?
So you Do you have any linkage between, or you can identify any link between your Toastmaster journey and writing these four books? Any linkage? Anything you
Sort
find?
of,
Any? Hmm.
sort of. I do. So I started writing. So I joined in 2017, but my
Yeah.
writing journey started in 2014. So I was in college at
Okay.
the time. It was my
Hmm.
second semester. I actually started writing actively,
Hmm.
not just
Hmm.
for exams, but as a blog.
Okay.
And like I said, in my first book, is for my first book, it was a gradual journey.
Hmm.
So when you are taking a gradual journey, there are little stepping stones, right?
Hmm.
You don't become a writer in a day with the blink of an eye. It happens through continuous writing. And when you write content such as speeches in Toastmasters, it's sort
Yeah.
of, you know, adding that input into your journey. That's exactly how it helped. I had a
Hmm.
platform where I could express myself, a platform where I could write speeches of 5 to 7 minutes.
Hmm.
And my speeches used to be really long. And one
Yeah.
of the feedback I often used to get was that Shani used to you should control your speed because you're speaking way too fast. That
Yeah.
used to happen because I had so much to say.
Hmm.
And my content wasn't written with the point of view of a speaker, it was written from the point of view of a writer.
Hmm.
That's how it helped. It gave me, week by week, it gave me the opportunity to work on it. And the more I wrote, the more I moved.
Wonderful. So you had also written this book, "Ye 22 साल का बुढ़ापा." So I'm sure
Right.
that you must have written when you were at the age of 22.
Absolutely not.
Not. Okay, then why this title and what does it mean?
So, Ye 22 Saal Ka Budhapa is not just the title for this book, it's also
Mhm.
the title for my first Hindi poetry. So, if you
Okay.
open the book, you'll find a poem titled as Ye 22 Saal Ka Budhapa. And it was the first Hindi poem I've ever written.
Hmm.
That's how the title inspired. And that poem was actually written at the age of 22. The book
Hmm.
came way after.
So
But
would you like to read this particular first poem for us?
let me just open it. First page or the particular poem?
Or anything which you think is which you want to share?
I'm going to read the preface because I want people to get my book. And if I start
Okay.
reading the poetry, they're going to know what's in it. So I'm going to read the preface to it, a little part of it. And
Okay.
so it starts with a poem. And this is something Toastmaster Jeetu and I often joke about because I often quote this whenever I'm talking to him.
Hmm.
So it's like, परिचय इस 22 साल के बुढ़ापे से
Yeah.
सुनो कुछ सुनाना है तुम्हें एक कहानी है सुनोगे किस बारे में है अब क्या ही बताऊं ये जो बुढ़ापा है ना ये 22 साल का बुढ़ापा जो है तो अनदेखा मगर जिसने जवानी में घेरे है रखा बस उसी के बारे में है सुनोगे this is how the book actually begins. There's a lot of content after this, but this is the
Hmm.
first thing you read when you open this book.
Wonderful. And in case somebody is interested to get this book, how that person can get it?
Call me. So there are two ways. We have ebooks on Amazon and we have physical
Okay.
copies with yours truly. So I
Okay.
have a few physical copies with me that I am want people to get actually. But if
Mhm.
someone's interested in ebook, Amazon's the way to go. So yeah,
So
physical
when,
copies.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, please continue. Yeah.
I was just saying physical copies have a benefit that ebooks don't.
Mhm.
I can sign physical copies. I cannot sign ebooks.
Wonderful. So you did your computer engineering, right? And after that, you started working in IT sector in semantic, binary semantic. How was that experience, and how was the transition from, and why you decided that no, no, I need to go in the creative side?
Okay. Not a lot of people know this, but
Yeah.
when I was in the first semester, when the exams had just ended, so our semester used to end in the month of December, like November, December.
Hmm.
So by the time my second semester hadn't even started, by the time the first semester ended, I had one clarity in my mind. I
Okay.
don't know what to do engineering. That I just
Okay.
had one clarity. I knew
Hmm.
nothing else. I didn't know what I wanted to pursue. I didn't know what
Hmm.
I want to study. I just knew I don't want to engineering. But I stuck with
Hmm.
it. because
Mhm.
primarily I had no idea what to do. So it was, let's see where it takes me. Let's go for placements. Let's see which company I get into, and then eventually let's get a degree. Let's see where it
Mhm.
takes me. And that's how I knew ki, nahin, I didn't want to do engineering, but because I had my degree with me and I wanted the job as well, I went through with it.
Okay.
I was working with Waco binary semantics.
Mhm.
The experience was really nice because my team was absolutely good. So I
Okay.
had managers who understood. I had a team which was willing to help me to, clear my doubts. The good thing was my role wasn't a very coding related.
Mhm.
Uh, there were coding aspects to it, but what we used to do was because our client was Google, we had certain internal tools that we used to work with, and they were easier to understand and to get hold of them as well. For 1 year or so, I was working with those tools, and coding wasn't a big issue. But
Mhm.
eventually, it started to because we were shifting towards coding now,
Okay.
and I understood no part of it. So that's when it hit me that I've been, talking about not being an engineer for what 5 years now, and I'm still an engineer. I think
Mhm.
it's time to switch. And when I was planning to switch, I didn't know which way I wanted to go, so I was interviewing a lot. But through those 1.9 years, I think I've learned a lot. There are a few things with let's because I work with data, I've worked with tools, I've worked with websites as a whole. I still try to implement the learnings I've had in Waco binary semantics in my current job as well. For example, just 2 days ago, what we were doing, this yesterday actually, uh,
Mhm.
the one of the many things I learned with the Waco binary semantics job was uh, that there are certain automated ways in which you can copy the data from one place to another.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that was because we had a lot of sheets here as well at Pocket FM. So what we were doing, what I was doing was basically copy pasting manually. But when it suddenly struck me that in my first job, I used to automate things. And if I wouldn't have had that experience, I probably wouldn't have hit me yesterday or the day before that, hey, I can
Mhm.
automate this as well.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's when I actually realized, hey, coding is useful. And so that's where the Waco Band experience also comes in handy. And people
Wonderful.
at Wingfoot, they basically knew that I was a writer through and through. So they were not very surprised when I told them, hey, I'm leaving for a content job. They were like, good for you, because this is what you've been doing all this while. So very
But
supportive.
yeah,
Yeah.
but if your parents were surprised when you decided to leave
No,
semantics and go into this zone of
because I
creating.
told my parents at the end of my first semester, I don't want to do engineering. So they knew starting say, very beginning that, okay, she's not going to stick with it. They
Mhm.
were like prepared. That so when I eventually made a switch, it didn't come as a shock to them. It was like this was in the making. This was like gonna happen. She was gonna anyway quit any day.
So, all those people who are going to hear this particular podcast,
Right.
maybe you can give some idea or some tip to all those students or people who are aspiring to change their line, how they can convince their parents the way you did it so easily.
Baby steps. See, your job is a very big part of your life, and your
Mhm.
parents, because we live with our families and our values also are familiar. Our
Mhm.
parents, we are very much linked with them, right? Every decision that we take, I think for most of us, for me especially, my parents are a part of my every decision. My family is. Parents, my brother, my entire family. So to drop a bomb like this on their heads,
Mhm.
suddenly there's a chance it's gonna backfire. So
Mhm.
one
Mhm.
of the best things to do is do it slowly and keep them in loop. I think that sometimes helps if you have parents who are supportive. But if you are someone who's rebellious and you tell them one day that hey, I'm quitting law and I'm going into music, it
Mhm.
might not come as a surprise if you've already been a rebellious child. Yeah. Take baby steps and yeah, try to understand their point of view as well. I think I've reached a point in my life where I know that rebellion is good, but
Mhm.
now I understand that okay, where people come from. When if I would change my line today, I would want to have a discussion with them. So I'm totally speaking from a point of view of older child now. I'm not a I'm not a 22-year-old person anymore.
Mhm.
But yeah, take baby steps, and if you're sure of it, I think they just want to happen. Whatever you're
So,
happy with.
so
If
your tip
you have,
is primarily to not give a shock to the parents,
yeah,
talk to them,
talk to
and
them. Yes.
in case still they are not agreeing to your point of view, give them small dosage so that slowly and steadily they understand your perspective, and then one fine day you can drop a bomb and then say, okay, now I'm doing it, but actually they are somewhere mentally ready, right?
They're mentally ready. I think we underestimate our
Mhm.
parents as well because see, every you're a parent of it, and I know you as a parent would want the best for your kids.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, all parents want is the happiness of their children, right? And
true.
the more our parents understand why we are doing something, the more they're able to adapt to it as well. See, truth be told, we are growing, but our parents are also growing. So if it takes us to change, if it takes us so much time to change or to adapt to a situation, imagine how much time it will take them to adapt.
Mhm.
Because let's say you are pursuing, let's say okay, you have studied for 10 years to become a doctor.
Mhm.
Your parents have also basically adapted to this particular lifestyle of yours, and then one day you wake up and immediately tell them, hey, I'm not pursuing medical anymore. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So if it's a situation like this, I think talking to them and making them understand, I think it's the best way to go. But that's purely from my personal opinion,
Mhm. Mhm.
based on
So
the family.
you left this IT field in 2019, and now after 5 years, do you think your decision was right in whatever you did in 4 years in college and then 2 years, and now going entirely into a different field? Are you
Absolutely,
happy? Are you contented, or do you think you took the right decision?
I think I
Because
did.
there are many people who are willing to jump, but they are very much fearful that what will happen and what will happen to these 6 years what they've spent.
Okay. See, I am a huge believer of this thing that things happen when they are supposed to happen.
Okay.
If you are supposed to win a marathon, you will win a marathon at the right time.
Hmm.
But you gotta put in the work. It's not gonna happen like you wake up one day, you haven't run in your life, and you wake up one day and you have an athlete's body. It's not gonna happen. You gotta put in the work. So I think
Hmm.
for those 6 years, that was when I was putting in the work. Maybe subconsciously, not consciously, not actively, but what I was doing was I was just catering to my interests. Like I said,
Hmm.
for 6 years, I had no idea that content was what was going to be my career path.
Hmm.
But what eventually helped me decide was that work. So let's talk about you. You run marathons, right?
Yeah.
When you started running, did you think that okay, you want to run a 21-kilometer one day?
No. No.
Not you
No.
wanted to
No.
run. You like running, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So if one day you decide to quit your job and just pursue running full time, it's not the decision that you take in that instant. It's
Hmm.
basically a decision that you've been taking for, let's say, 6 years or 7 years, just not
Hmm.
conscious.
Yeah.
If there's someone out there who's willing to switch their jobs and is wondering what's going to happen to the past 6 years, that's the past, right? If you're willing to quit a particular field and if you're willing to switch into something else,
Yeah.
it's not a decision you are taking today. It's been at the back of your head for a very long time, and I'm sure you've been doing something towards it. And if you have been doing something towards it and to work towards this, I don't think there's anything to regret. At what's going to happen to those 6 years because you eventually worked on this. What you
Hmm.
today are has been a result of the past 6 years.
So in a way, you're talking that it's always a process. Whatever the output that is coming, it is a result of things what is happening. Like generally, people when they talk about Sachin Tendulkar, and they always say that we want to become Sachin Tendulkar, but then they find it very difficult because there is a certain process which Sachin
Right.
Tendulkar may have gone through, and now what we see and we say that this is Sachin Tendulkar. So something similar is there in each and every life. Wonderful.
Absolutely. And when people say they want to become Sachin Tendulkar, they're actually setting themselves up for failure, to be honest. Because to become Sachin Tendulkar, you have to train like Sachin Tendulkar. And not everyone is gonna train like Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah.
Right? So this is a mistake I made as well in the early days when I was writing in Toastmasters. I used to compare myself to Rabindranath Tagore and J.K. Rowling. And I used to think, hey, my writings are not that great. And then people from Toastmasters already gave me this advice that you're comparing yourself, you're comparing your 21-year-old version to 50, 60, 70-year-old version of authors who have succeeded in their life.
Yeah.
Don't compare your 21-year-old to that 70-year-old version. Compare your 21-year-old version to the version you were the day before.
Wonderful.
You're not gonna be J.K. Rowling. You're not gonna be Sachin Tendulkar. You're gonna
Mhm.
be Bhavya Mangla. You're gonna be Ishani Luthra. You're
True.
gonna be your version, but it's always gonna be better than what you were yesterday.
So you have to become a better version of yourself, what you are today. That
Right.
should be the target, right?
That should be the yeah. Stepping stones, baby steps.
Wonderful. You just talked about Toastmaster again. You started your journey in Toastmaster in 2017, and I still see you coming in Toastmasters. Why?
I don't come to Toastmasters. I come to a particular club.
Okay.
I used to go to different clubs when I was very active because at that point my objective was to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Today my objective has changed. Today my objective has changed to connecting with people, to socialize,
Mm-hmm.
to get a chance to speak, be it for 2 minutes in a table topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
to implement what I've learned in the past few years. And because this particular club provides me with that warmth, that's what brings me back. And let's say I'm active tomorrow with respect to
Mm-hmm.
my speaking and my evaluations. I might explore other clubs as well, which I've been doing in the past. But the
Mm-hmm.
major reason I come is because there's a sense of familiarity,
Mm-hmm.
uh, in the ambience that we have at the club. But also because I've learned so much, I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
good place to experiment. I think I mentioned this before. That
Yeah.
Toastmaster provide you with safe space, right? You can make mistakes. No one's gonna judge you. And if
Yeah.
people are judging you, they're gonna judge you in a sandwiched approach. CRC, right? That's what people
Mm-hmm.
are gonna do. So there is, but it's not very harsh judgment that comes in the corporate sector, right? Or any place that you're working in. So this warmth, this sandwiched approach, people are not judging me, and
Mm-hmm.
a way to express myself, a way to implement what I've learned in the past few years, ever since 2017. And this is why I come back.
So any suggestion, any input to all those people who are thinking of joining Toastmaster but still not being able to decide that whether they should go for it or not? Any tip for them?
You're not gonna make a decision until you actually try it out, right?
Okay.
People hear about Toastmasters, they think that hey, it might be a speaking thing, it might be boring. To be honest, the first impression I had when I heard the word Toastmasters, when I heard that it's a speaking club, was that people are gonna have group discussions and that's how we're gonna improve. I had
Mm-hmm.
that image in my head. This is absolutely wrong. You know what happens at Toastmasters, right? There are so many different approaches.
Yeah.
How I got to know was when I tried it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You started to run, you didn't know how much you could achieve until you actually went for it. Right?
True. Very
I
true.
didn't know that I would actually sign books one day until I actually started publishing. So to dive deep into the game, it's what
Mm-hmm.
you got to take the first step. So there's an analogy that we make at Toastmasters clubs as well, no? That this is the stage and this is where the audience sits.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a very massive distance, and it is from to stand up from the chair and to actually walk towards the stage. It
Yeah.
is extremely daunting. But if you have gotten up and if you have taken that first step, there is no stopping you because you're eventually gonna make that work. And if you don't, people will make you take the work. So if you're thinking of joining Toastmasters, I would suggest just attend one meeting, and people are gonna take you from there. They will just you just have to just
Excellent.
walk into it.
And I think this is not only important for Toastmasters, but for anything that we want to do in life, that we have to
Right.
try, we have to come out of our comfort zone. And then there is a possibility that we can see and decide that whether we should do it or not.
Absolutely,
Wonderful.
and it's not just
Mhm.
people who help, right? It's the mentors as well. I mean, you've
Mhm.
been a mentor, right? But
Yeah.
I think you also might have 2 cents on this, how you've been mentoring people and how people have been looking up to you. Like, I would really want to know like how your mentoring experience has been like, because I think people who are willing to join Toastmasters but don't know how to, I think they can help. They can take some 2 cents from this.
So, if I talk about the mentoring program in Toastmasters, primarily the idea is that all those Toastmasters who have joined recently and who don't know anything about Toastmasters, that how Toastmaster works, how they can get benefit from it, how they can give speeches, how they can write speech, how they can think about it, how they can prepare for all those roles, and there can be many more things. So there the role of mentoring comes, wherein there are different mentoring group. You can be a part of any mentoring group where you want to be there or which is more fitting for you. And then the people who are there as a part of Toastmaster for quite some time, they can give all that input, just like I am a mentor for one of the group. So in that, my objective is that in case somebody has any question, any query, any doubt, or how to how to have that tick with respect to the next role, so that is a way in which it is being done. And generally, these things are not very common outside the atmosphere of Toastmasters. So that's why when someone join Toastmasters, they start feeling that how can we be in such a place there where you can fail, nobody is judging, and then
Right.
still there are people who are going to help you to learn something new and something better and become a better person.
But you had mentors in your journey as well, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I myself had mentors, and I also got the opportunity to be a mentor to some of the mentees
You were
also.
my mentor for some time, I remember.
Yes, yes, and
Used to hold meetings at 6 p.m. every Saturday.
yeah.
Used to call
So
it
that
as
is, yeah, yeah, that is still going on. So these days it is at 11 a.m. in the morning.
okay,
So
on
today,
Saturday.
yeah, on Saturday, and today we had, I think, 9 people who were there, 9 Toastmasters, and we had an excellent discussion there.
Right. I remember
Wonderful,
the
Ishani.
first,
Hmm. Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
that's it. I'm saying that this is can be closing notes as well. Like I'll take you can take this over. So I was saying when in the in my entire lifetime of Toastmasters journey, the only time I've actively chosen a mentor was with you. But all the other times, I didn't have an active mentor. So this is also for people who don't know whether to join Toastmasters or not.
Yeah,
You have active members and you have passive members. I
yeah.
always had passive members, and that basically included the entire club. So it's not just one person that we learn from each and everybody because the feedbacks we receive are a combination of all those 50 people who are in the
Hmm.
right. So I think people can benefit from this as well that you have both kinds of information over here.
So we started with asking about the book. So my
Yeah.
last question to you is that when is the next book coming?
The next book's coming as soon as I complete writing this one.
Hmm.
I'm in the process of writing something, and I'm hoping to
Okay.
complete it as soon as possible. My target was last year, but then I got
Okay.
involved with publishing this,
Hmm.
so I'm hoping it happens really soon. But when it does, I'm hoping it suits.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Ishani, to be a part of this podcast. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
So, my dear friends, I'll be back again next week, same time, with some another interesting personality, wherein we can learn something from the common people who are around us, and we can get inspired from them also. Thank you very much.